Detective and
Colin.
And we are ready to bring you the series finale of The Bad Batch.
Yeah, it's over. It's over, baby. Season 3, episode 15, the Cavalry has arrived.
And has it.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got, the multiple teams here. Mm-hmm. We got, Hunter, Crosshair, and Wrecker on there in the forest coming in. Mm-hmm. You got Echo with Emery, last we saw, and Omega and her team, I guess, the kids. Mm-hmm. And we basically start this episode off with Hemlock confronting Rampart, who's also locked up next to Nala Se and all these other clones. And he's like, he really digs into Rampart here, and it's pretty funny. Like, yeah, I have information that's vital to the Empire. You got nothing, boy.
Yeah, like
he really hits him.
You've really got nothing here, and it's that is all like extremely funny. The whole Hemlock and Rampart.
Yeah, they should be on the same side, but they're both too egotistical.
Yeah, they're both, and that's like an ongoing issue that you kind of see with the Empire is that individual egos tend to bring it down, which is absolutely hilarious. Mm-hmm. But all of that is it's really great.
Yeah, because you see Nala Se just kind of judging from the side, seeing what's going on. But yeah, so we move on pretty quickly over to Echo and Dr. Emery. They're coming up with their plan, talking about how they're going to get to the children, blah, blah, blah. And, he's like, why are you helping me? And she's just like, I was wrong, and I want to make it right. It's easy as that sometimes, you know what I mean? I'm realizing now what I was feeding my energy into, and I don't want to do that anymore. Which is admirable. Well,
it's awesome because it's you found the folly of your ways.
Yeah, exactly.
This isn't a...
She was born into something. She had really no choice but to fall into this, and then, found out that...
But it's also, the questions that, Omega had always, kind of given her, especially recently, well, at least now you're safe. Am I?
Yeah,
exactly. Because, again, the way that Emery had always seen it was that, the clones and everything were bad, especially Clone Force, 99, the Bad Batch. They were the bad people, the enemies.
Yeah, the Empire is the lesser of two evils.
You will always be safe here with the Empire and stuff. But
which most of the galaxy feels.
Omega always wanted to go back with them, and Emery just never understood that until she saw the kids, and then she's like, "Oh, I get it now."
Specimens?
You mean children?
Right.
Oh, specimens?
Right.
Oh, okay. About face, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Admit when you're wrong. Just because you change.
I mean, we've seen Crosshair change. We've seen again, she had. These people had they had no choice in the matter of Crosshair had to be a soldier. She had to be do what she had to do as a clone, and when they were finally given a choice, they took it, and I'll always admire people who do that. So and in the lab now, Omega is kind of ready to enact her plan.
Yeah,
and she gets the kids in on it.
She's
let's go.
The squad's here. We gotta go. We gotta squad up and get out ourselves.
Exactly. We need to meet them. We don't need to wait around.
Yeah.
So she enacts her plan, and she hacks the robot.
she hacks the droid. Yeah,
she hacks this droid, and Dr. Skelder kind of notices they're missing, so she goes down and checks in on them, and they're like, "We were with the droid. It was running its tests." And she's like, "They don't run its tests right now." And then he's like, "Yeah." And then all of a sudden the droid knocks her out. Gives her some
the
kind
entire
of
time during that, you just see the droid. It's because Skolder says, "Oh, come over here," and you think, you assume it. The droid is acknowledging that and slowly moving over, and then out of nowhere you just see the little prick, and you're like, "Oh, it worked!
Yeah,
it worked!"
Right? Yeah, because she's like, "I never did it on this type."
Yeah.
So, but she knows what she's doing. She learned from tech. She learned from the best.
Exactly.
So, when they knock her out, she's like, "Let's go. Let's get the planks off the wall. Let's start. Let's climb out of here."
Mm-hmm.
And they begin their escape.
Yeah, they begin their escape, and I love the music during their escape. I love the music actually at the beginning of the episode too. It was really creepy and ominous and stuff.
Yeah.
So the kids start their escape. We then get a cut back out to the jungle, out in the batch, or
the batch out in the jungle. Right?
Yeah, there we go.
And they're moving a bit slow because Wrecker's hurt. Crosshair's like, what are we doing here? And then we cut kind of quickly back to Emery and Echo, who are deeper into the facility, and she's explaining Project Necromancer, blah blah blah. Like, it's kind of a quick cut back from them. Like, we see Wrecker's hurt.
And the good thing is, though, as well, is that Echo, or like Emery explains to Echo as well, like how the kids got there. Because Echo's like, how do these kids, like, how'd you guys get here? Oh, we hired bounty hunters to retrieve them. Whew.
Yeah.
He's not liking that.
No.
And is like, yeah, we gotta do this. We gotta take care of these kids. We cut back to the kids. They're escaping through the walls. Bayron's, all fussing and stuff because he's a little baby.
Yeah, he's a little baby.
Get it?
And she's like, all right, I got this. And Omega goes down, and she's the Zillow beast that they've been planning on using for their escape, and she's able to get to where like the controls are, but Bayron, starts crying. And
alerts all the troopers and stuff to like kind of where the rest of the kids are,
but actually working out in their favor because she's able to kind of like that distracts the guards to get away from her, and she hits the laser, I guess,
the laser shield
over the pool that they're holding the Zillow Beast in, and the Zillow Beast gets out, and they have to, the Empire's attention's quickly taken away.
They're like, oh god, we gotta go deal with.
They're forced to fight the Zillow Beast, who starts climbing up the rafters and stuff, and it starts making it past everything, and kind of finds a way out too.
Yeah, and we get a cut back to the vault. We see Skulder is being escorted out. Emery is confused with Echo as they're like walking in there. Hemlock explains the children escaped,
and basically. Either you find them or you're gone.
Yeah, and your fate is tied to Omega's now.
Yeah.
So do with that as you will. And but I do love on how Echo is like Omega, and like Emery's like whoa, dude, that's hey, you're talking about me being a weirdo? Like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, Omega, She's the one who released the Zillow Beast.
She did exactly what I would do.
She did exactly what I would do. She's making a distraction and splitting their defenses to make her escape easier.
Yeah.
And so then like Echo's like, I know what we need to do. Let's go to like the
Do you have like a shortcut here?
Yeah, let's
get up there. He's like pointing toward where the Zillow Beast got out.
Yeah, because
they get clearly that's where the kids are.
Because they get to the holding. And they get to the holding cell for the Zillow Beast, and like the door slightly opens a little bit. Well, but
anyway, back in the jungle with Crosshair, Hunter, and Wrecker, we're getting closer to the facility, but they're moving slow. Wrecker's not doing too good.
He needs like 15 more med packs, and they have been
he needs a stim
out.
pack if the rest fall out. But they see scouts looking for him, which is not going to make it easier.
No,
and
definitely not.
Crosshair, this is when Crosshair's like, all right. We're moving too slow. I'm gonna go in there by myself. You two try to get back to the ship so we can like get Omega on it, whatever. And they're like, no, we're going in together. We knew the risks. Like,
we knew the risk. And the Crusher's like, no, but Clone Force 99 died protected, and then this is where Hunter and Wrecker, again say like, we knew the risks just as well as Tech did, like.
No, the team's not that. It's right here.
Round up, boys.
And Crosshair's clearly trying to like redeem himself for what happened, but it's like that's not the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's doing a suicide bombing or whatever. You know what I mean? Like just basically running in there and not being able to get out isn't the way to go when you're better off with your two boys on your back.
Right.
But so.
But this is where we see then the explosions from inside the facility, the explosions going on inside the facility, which is actually the Zillow Beast escaping, and that's also where like Hunter, Wrecker, and Crosshair are like, well, if Omega's going to give us a bow tie to get in, like a package, a gift to get into the facility, might as well not waste it. So now they have like the new, like Wrecker,
new plan to get
Wrecker gets that second win, and they got the new plan. They're like, all right, we're gonna get up there because
that's
obviously that's our easiest way in.
All three groups right now are going towards the same place, which is
heading
good.
Towards that landing pad.
Omega and the kids are climbing out, and they don't all want to climb. It's kind of a scary thing, but she reassures them, look ahead, not backwards, which is good advice anywhere. Hemlock decides to get his secret weapons, the Shadow Trooper, his recon group. Echo and Emery are using the shortcut to get to the top, while the boys are finally confronted by those Shadow Troopers.
Hold on. I do love what Omega says to Jax as well. Like, aside from, like, the focus on what's ahead, not below. But I love on how she also talks about Wrecker in this moment of, like, my brother Wrecker, who is the strongest person I have ever met, also is uneasy with heights, and we all know that to be true.
Exactly.
But again, it's like it is like
she's taken on this role in this past
leader
season,
role,
where she's now becoming a leader for sure. Not only a leader, but just becoming into herself.
Yeah,
she's taken all the lessons from all of her brothers, and finally they're all showing themselves in different ways, and it's really fun to see.
Yeah, it's great. But so we're back inside. Echo and Emery, they're seeing the holding area from the lower level of, like, where the Zillo Beast was, and they're like, all right, well, we need to get up there to that landing pad. Do you know any shortcuts?
Yep.
We get up there. Bad Batch is climbing up there, meeting up with them Shadow Clones, because the Shadow Clones are not only up there, they're, like, up there waiting. They've got like a couple of them have got their sniper positions already picked out and stuff.
Hemlock, because Hemlock sent his like a lot of the crew to get the Zillo Beast, right?
Yeah.
So, like, even a lot of, like, the ships and stuff,
even shuttles and stuff. Yeah.
So that really split up his troops, but he was like, that's fine, we'll do that because I'm gonna go get my homies back here, and they knew kind of where to go just as much as the Batch did. So yeah, they confront them, and they put up a good fight, and Crosshair's finally like, again, this time it's a little more understandable. You guys get out of here. I'll hold off the defenses for a minute. And for a second it goes all right, but
for a second it goes all right, but then Crosshair,
there's just too many of them. There's just way too many of them, and there's elite ones there too. One of them has those laser swords, which are sick. Not necessarily lightsabers, but they're definitely energy swords.
It's very Deadpool.
It's more of a samurai sword style, and, like, we've seen different types of energy weapons.
I mean, if we're being honest, that design was very much so like the Darksaber.
Right.
Yeah, very much so like that, in the whole blade and everything of how it looked, and, like, the design sleekness and everything of it. But it was great to see. But Crosshair, man, loses a gun and a shooting hand.
Yeah, right. So they get quickly overwhelmed. Wrecker gets tied up. They're trying to get away, and right before Crosshair is able to get a gun to defend his boys,
samurai sword, Shadow Clone.
So with the Shadow Clone with the samurai sword cuts his hand off, his shooting hand especially, and then cut to Emery and Echo walking, and they kind of see the boys being transferred on
like
stretchers.
The stretchers, yeah. And, like, Echo's like, well, what's gonna happen with them? And Emery's like, well, Hemlock will keep them heavily guarded. And Echo's like, I can deal with that for right now.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's a tough call, because Echo's like, these are my brothers and kids.
Yeah.
And it is a tough call, because both of them are equally important to him. But
his brothers would be pissed if he didn't choose
But agreed.
They had a primary objective
to save Omega and save the kids, and then they are all secondary in that aspect of it.
So he makes the right decision, climbs up, it gets to the kids who are like literally being tracked down by stormtroopers right at this moment. And
by
while they're getting caught, luckily Echo's there too, shoots them down.
This was a moment
Yeah.
that I was like, oh my god!
Yes, for sure.
Star Wars!
Yeah. Yeah, so he uses, you know, because that's what we've kind of been waiting for this whole episode, is him to kind of be part of the group.
Yeah.
Secretly. But yeah, he does that, and they're like, all right, cool, let's get to the shuttle.
Hold on. I love the confirmation call that Echo gives of Havoc 5 to Omega.
Yeah.
Of like
Echo.
And then she's like, Echo.
Yeah. It's so funny.
It's great. And like,
but yeah, no, it's a great scene, and we also get like the kids being saved finally, and they're like understanding like, oh sweet, like Emery, you're even helping us.
Yeah, that like Eva was really surprised, like, Dr. Carr, you're helping us too? She's like, yes, I am, kids. Let's go, let's get out of here. I was wrong. I was always trying to help.
Right.
Well, because like it's one of those things like,
even though I couldn't do this, I was at least trying to keep you guys as comfortable as I possibly could. Right?
Like I was. Well, I don't even know about the comfort. Like she truly cared. Like like she truly cared and wanted. Like when she said, Omega, like you're safe here. Like she truly believed that because. She was there to like Emery herself was able to like
Hemlock,
do this exact same
but
thing.
But to
that
a point, she wasn't going to be able to hold off. Like that's what Nalase at least had more leverage.
Yes,
I don't think she has as much leverage. Had as much leverage,
definitely,
and it was already wearing out. As we saw.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So yeah, her safety was definitely all of their safety was definitely up for grabs soon, and she's now at least being proactive in her helping instead of reactive. So yeah, we see that, and they're like, "Let's get to the shuttle," and they're like, "Great and all." Echo and Omega are like, "We're gonna stay behind though. We still need to do our objective." Again, they have a main objective.
Because Omega's like, where are my brothers?" And Echo's like, "They're detained."
Right.
And she's like, "Okay, well, we can't leave without them. Like Omega starts calling the shots here. It's like, Emery, you take the kids here to the coordinates that Echo just gave you and stuff. Hey, hugs all around.
See you soon.
We love each other. We love you. Be safe. We'll see you soon. You can trust her. Like that was one of the other things.
Cool. Here's a data pad so you can get past. Everything. Easier. Like here's a little cheat code.
Yeah. Here's the cheat code. Here's the skeleton key.
Yeah. So it's cool. Emery's kind of ready to move on with her life, and at least we see them get away, you know. But Omega is they don't follow orders. They're some of the best soldiers, you know what I mean? They're going to stick together, and they got each other's backs.
Yeah. So then we get back to the chamber conditioning.
We see Hemlock basically basically trying to turn them all into
shadow
clones, right? Yeah. Which is basically, he's like, my methods have gotten better, which is basically he's probably torturing them more.
Yeah.
And he's actively torturing Hunter, and like basically if you don't assimilate, you die.
Yeah.
So we move on. Cool.
Right.
This is when Echo and Omega break back into the jail, and they break out a bunch of clones.
We also get the Tarkin transmission.
Oh yes. We at least we're gonna know that Tarkin's calling in, and he's go
checking in a little bit more, because we've seen Tarkin come in, like, you know, a handful of times, at least this season. I actually can't remember if we really see him in previous seasons, but obviously we know he's around. He shows up in Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff. But so here he comes in, and like he's talking to him. It's he's like, "What's going on?"
Yeah. Well, before that, we get the Echo and Omega breaking out of jail. Yeah, they break back into the jail. They talk into they're breaking out a bunch of clones, Nalase included, and Rampart. Yep. Like we said, they're like real near each other. And as they're like joining to help the clones, they're like, "Well, we got your back, dude. Thanks for breaking us out. Now we'll help you out." And Nalase talks to Omega specifically, and is like, "I need to destroy these data banks. Like, I can't let this stuff go." And okay, if anyone understands, Omega understands. Mm-hmm. So here you go. Here's a little gift, and you know she gives her the.
It's a gift that keeps on giving, man. Yeah. It's the data pad. Nalase gets it. But Rampart, that conniving
cowardly
little
loser.
Yeah.
He runs off like doing his own thing clearly.
But following Nalase too.
Yeah.
At the same point, like he goes off one way, sees that nobody's really looking, and then he like goes and starts following like Nala Se down the other way.
And then now this is when we get the Hemlock talking to Tarkin here.
Yeah.
And they're having this conversation where Tarkin before has said to Hemlock specifically, like, I don't necessarily like the fact that the Emperor's giving you more money than me for your little project.
Yeah, for little
especially
things.
for how secretive it is and all this stuff, blah blah blah. So it's been kind of a push and pull between, again, these egos. Like, my project's better than your project. I want money towards my project, which, you know, we'll find out later. But yeah, he's talking to Tarkin and he's telling the Emperor. Tarkin's telling Hemlock the Emperor's concerned and that he's on the way. He's coming to check out what's going on because he knows they've been infiltrated. He knows they've
the security breach and everything that's going on currently right now, or
and
more or less.
And again, he's using this as a way to like see what's going on here at this facility, and we also get Echo, Omega, and some of the troopers making their way to the top to free. While all that's happening, we get them climbing their way to the top.
Yeah, Echo like breaks into, you know, hacks into like a computer and something and kind of gets a little shaft opening to where they're able to peel off a panel.
Not big enough for him to get in.
Yeah, not big enough for him, but definitely big enough for Omega to be able to squeeze in there and start going through the walls to go find the conditioning chamber where the where her brothers are, so that, you know, she can signal Echo to that location, and, you know, they go and
when
save
she gets in there, they immediately start getting shot at by some of the Imperial troopers.
Yeah.
And but she finds her way in. She gets above them. She sees them, and we get basically that she's like, I'm ready when you are. You know what I mean?
And we get a cut to the science lab. Nala Se's in there. She's in the data chambers. Rampart picks up like a random blaster from somebody who was killed. Nala Se picks up a grenade out of like somebody's bag, and
she like sets it off basically.
She's
like,
going
if
through.
I let my finger off this.
She's going through the data, going through it. Rampart, like, she hears the click of a blaster, basically getting ready. She hits the grenade, holds it in her hand so like nobody can hear the beep and the bright and the flickering,
lights,
flashing red light can't really be seen. And, you know, Rampart keeps doing his bad guy monologuing. Like,
and he's trying to figure out like what's going on and what this Project Necromancer is, but like I was like, you're not gonna understand. Like it's beyond you. Like
you never understood it.
The Empire never understood it, so you're definitely never gonna understand it. You've worked in this field for a long time and you've never understood it, so you're definitely not gonna understand this. So no, it needs to die with, you know, along with the Empire. This information, if it's getting out of Kaminoan hands, basically Kaminoan hands.
Tell me everything about Project Necromancer.
So yeah, he ends it with that and like holding the blaster in her face, but she's got the grenade behind her back, unknowingly to him.
Right, and so again, Omega let them all know that, like, let Echo know, like, hey, like, here we are. I need a big distraction. I should be able to get them out, and, you know, Echo comes through.
Yep.
And we get these like weird barrier like wall things that pop up from the ground, like circling.
It's like the training. I don't know if you remember in the Clone Wars episodes, the training episodes that they have, that like the blocks would come up and stuff. Yeah, but anyway, it's very much reminded me of that. Like they're in some kind of training room for the soldiers that he's training. And anyway, so they're like kind of knocking out the clones, and they're kind of getting beat. You know what I mean? They
really are down there. And like Omega
uses that as also the fighting as a way to kind of sneak past this guard that's up top, watching the batch, watching Crosshair, Wrecker, and Hunter,
and everybody like fighting. Well, his back is to like all of them looking.
So he's just looking at the fight, seeing when he's going to jump in. You know.
Seeing when or if he's
saving his energy for now. Yeah, exactly. And she's sneaking past. She unlocks one of the. Braces, like wrist braces on Wrecker, so that you know, Wrecker has a free arm. Yeah, she's about to get all of them unleashed, but the guy sees her. She starts shooting him with a stun gun, and he you know, quickly grabs her. Hemlock walks in like, nah, you're not. You didn't. Haha. You know what I mean? You didn't get to do what you wanted to do.
This is all going according to my plan.
Yeah, exactly. But she's like, yeah, cool. My plan's not necessarily over. She notices Wrecker, like, kind of waking up now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he uses his one free hand to break out.
A little bit. And that's so great.
He takes a couple of them down, at least knocks them out for now. Enough to get the others free.
And we get in the middle of, like, his fight, like, he kind of breaks out and, like, hits one of them. And then we get a cut back to the science lab. And this is, like, my favorite part is, like, when just Nalase actually blows up the science lab.
Yeah.
Like you know.
So it's actually basically he shoots her because she's not giving up any information. And she drops the thing because that was the only way. Mm-hmm. Is if she let go of it, then it's going to blow up. And he notices it fall. And he's like, oh, God. Mm-hmm. And then blows up the data bank. So Nalase's mission is complete, sadly. So we get that moment, and that was like, wow. And they noticed everyone's kind of thrown off by this explosion, right? Mm-hmm. And that's when kind of Hemlock grabs Omega
and binds her
to him, like, with some handcuffs, and they're connected now, and they start running. Hunter's like
Hunter finally like gets out of it. Like, due to the explosion and like to what Omega did, like Hunter's kind of getting out, Crosshair seemingly like waking up and whatnot.
Wrecker uses this moment to tackle this dude from the top
all
down
the
to
way
the bottom
down
where Echo's fighting, so he's able to kind of help out Echo, who was kind of cornered too.
Yeah, Echo was cornered. It almost looked like Echo was about to be taken out, but then, you know, Wrecker finds a little blaster and, you know, takes out the guy.
And then Echo takes out the guy behind Wrecker, and it's a cool moment.
It is.
And then this is kind of when we get Crosshair and Hunter talking, but then we get that, like, not tech guy get killed by Hunter pretty quickly. Before that, the guy who's like the commander shadow trooper, who I thought maybe that's tech. Nope. He gets killed quickly by Hunter, and then that's it. He's just hanging there. Mm-hmm. And Crosshair's like, all right, let's do this. We gotta go.
And they go out onto this elongated like landing pad, very Rogue One kind of vibes with Jane Erso's dad.
There's another throwback to that.
All the like rain and stuff, and like it was really dark and all of that. It was great.
Yeah, also with the help of one of the free clones, Echo and Wrecker are finally able to defeat the enemies who were, you know, kind of had the upper hand on them for a minute. Mm-hmm. And then Omega and Hemlock are kind of crossing this bridge. It's raining outside. Yeah. It's kind of crazy. The ship's coming up to them, which is soon shot out of the sky quickly.
Yep.
And we see Crosshair and Hunter sitting
walking
there
down.
And it's cool because you see, it's sad. You see Crosshair holding his shooting arm, and then balancing his other hand on that arm so he could shoot steadier. And they come up with a plan. Hunter's like, you know, shoot the bracelet, shoot the in between the handcuff. And he's like, no, I don't think this is a good idea.
Crosshair's like, no, no, bro.
He's like, look at her. She's got a plan right now. Which she's got this that pin that she used to hack and get off
and carve out the wall and everything.
She stabs him in the Hemlock in the leg, which makes him like raise their hand. Crosshair uses that moment to shoot the lock off, and they're separated. He falls off the side of the bridge. And
because like once it's separated, Hunter's like. Pop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, it was so great. It was such a good moment.
Hunter wasted, obviously was wasting zero time.
He knew Crosshair was going to get the shot off, so once it hit, he shot.
Oh, yeah. Like, it was the 1-2 punch.
She comes back, and, you know, this was funny, because she actually gave Crosshair the hug first. Yeah, I was like, huh.
Yeah.
But you know, they've been through a lot this season,
and those two especially.
And he saw his hands now missing, probably, like.
Yeah.
He needed a hug just as much.
Yeah, he definitely needed that.
That works out, and the team kind of meets up. They get on this ship. They fly into hyperspace. As they're flying away into the hyperspace, Tarkin and his crew
and his Star Destroyers show up. That was crazy.
Yeah, it was like, just remember that the Empire's still super in power at this point. Like, yes, this is one little distraction in a larger fight that's, you know, unfolding as we go. So yeah, the Tarkin and his crew land. Quickly, Tarkin finds out the project.
Well, he finds out Hemlock's dead.
Yeah.
The children.
Which he's totally fine with.
Yeah. Hemlock's dead. Children are gone, and basically the facility is more or less destroyed.
Yeah, all
like,
the data
totally,
banks were blown up from the girl tells him, and he's like, "Cool, that's fine. Funneled all the money to Project Stardust."
Yeah.
Which is, another Rogue One throwback to the plans of building the Death Star.
Yep. Project Stardust is the Death Star plans, which is awesome.
So,
I love it. But I do
he's getting his money, yeah.
But I do gotta say, like, because we talked about it briefly, but like Thrawn in the legacy books of Heir to the Empire, Dark Force Rising, and The Last Command, that trilogy by Timothy Zahn, great trilogy of books. If you've never
pulling
read them.
A lot from it, right?
They really are. But this basically where they leave it here kind of sets that up then to be used then for where we see spoilers 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
In the Ahsoka series, we see Thrawn come back, and he's back in our galaxy. If you were spoilers for Rebels,
yeah, Dathomir.
He's back at Dathomir. So in theory, he can find his way to a live action Tantus.
Yeah. I could see him going to Tantus, and because that again is where he has the operation where he's running the clone operations out of. But yeah, I could see that happening for sure.
So it leaves that ability to be played with and stuff.
But
now.
To be fair, in those that was happening during would have happened.
No. In those books, it happens post Return of the Jedi.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Return of the Jedi before Force Awakens. So that's why, like, seeing the facility get shut down now here, and then somebody maybe secretly kind of fixing it up throughout the rest of the saga the rest of the saga in the background, and then having it come back in the Ahsoka Mandalorian verse kind of stuff there actually really fits really well.
And to bridge the gap between the Emperor coming back and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think Thrawn would want that.
Right.
He's not one of the... He wants the Empire to exist, but he doesn't want the Emperor to be there. He wants to probably be in charge.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, so that would be interesting. Anyway, we get...
go back to Pabu then.
Yeah, where Echo and Emery are kind of looking over their successes, and the kids are running around having fun. And it's great to see them happy. Mm-hmm. Emery tells Echo she's like willing to help in any way she can to get over like what she's done in her past.
They're going to go see to Pantora, I believe, to go see Senator Tucci.
Yeah. And
they're going to talk. You know, like she's like you said, I'm going to do anything I can, willing to help any way that I can. And
help the clones acclimate, basically.
Yeah.
And the kid, and then we get Hunter and Omega sitting by a tree, also just kind of basking in it, and basking in the just freeness of not having to fight for their safety right now.
Yeah.
And they're just talking about what they're gonna do, and Hunter says whatever we want.
It's it's our lives. We can do like whatever we want now.
Yeah, which is kind of a confusing thing probably for all of them.
Yeah.
Right, doing what you want to do compared to what you're told, which is what they've done their whole lives.
Right.
They finally have this opportunity of like a little freedom, and they might not know what to do right away.
And Omega always worried about the other clones and stuff. It's like, well, what about them? What are they gonna do? And Hunter's like, well, they're gonna do the same thing we are. Like they're free to follow their own paths. They don't need to go back into the army. They don't need to go like try and fight or anything. If they want to like find a little house and like a piece of land, they're able to do that now.
And she's like, well, okay, what are we gonna do with the kids? Are they gonna get back to their parents? And he's like, yeah, me and Rex are looking into it, but until then, we'll take care of them for sure. Which is cool because it also says like it's not easy to find. It wouldn't be easy to find these kids' parents.
I mean, there's a good chance that those kids' parents are also killed.
Yeah, right.
Because like
that too.
Because I mean, granted, it looked like they stunned. Like it looked like Cad Bane stunned the mother of Bayron, but like
who's to say every bounty hunter?
Exactly. Who's to say every single bounty hunter?
But either way, it's a huge galaxy. Not finding people's
it's
parents is going to be tough. So yeah, it looks like they're going to be looking after them for at least a while. If not some of them forever. But yeah, so we get
We get a nice
that cool little reunion, and then the two others come up, and Omega's taking a little nap under the tree, and it's just nice to see them finally enjoying a moment of peace.
Yeah, a moment of peace. We get a nice little fade to black, and then we see a fade.
Yeah,
a black fade in.
Yeah, and we see this girl, the long ponytail, running with this yellow jacket on and a rebel sign on her arm. And she's running through, sneaking, I'd say, more sneaking past at night, trying to get to a ship.
In the Pabu cave. Because we get an aerial shot.
It's the same cave that, again, we saw
Ventress
land in, and then the clone trooper, the shadow trooper who was using it. Like, we've seen this cave plenty of times now where it's a good place to hide your ship, apparently. Nobody's figured it out yet.
Right.
So anyway, she's got her ship there, and she turns on all the lights and notices someone sitting there waiting for her. Two people, or a person and an animal.
Yeah.
We get Hunter and Batcher sitting there waiting. Kind of puts a little smile on her face, but like an annoyed dad smile. You know what I mean?
Dad, come
what are you doing here? So we see now that it's a grown-up Omega.
Yeah.
And she's walking up on an older Hunter and Batcher.
I love what he says. He's like, time hasn't dulled all of my senses.
Exactly.
Yet.
Like, I could tell you were up to something.
Yeah.
Just kind of sitting here waiting for it to happen. And she's like, I know, I get it, but I'm ready to live my life now, which, was kind of the point of this whole thing, being able to make your own choices. And she says, like, you guys had your fight, so I get it. Like, keeping me safe, you kept me safe for a long time. Now it's my choice. This is my fight, and I want to be a pilot for the rebels, basically.
Yeah, for the rebellion.
It's cool.
I love it. It's great, and he's like, Hunter obviously isn't gonna stop her, can't stop her, but he does say, if you Omega, if you ever need us, we'll be there.
Yeah, and also she tells Hunter it's great, which is also a way to tell you Crosshair and Wrecker or like watch over Crosshair, Wrecker, and Batcher. Yeah, confirming that they're still alive at this time in this timeline. Yeah, but and then he's like, salutes her as she takes off, just basically like.
And, but hold on. We got Tex goggles that she has on she has on the dashboard too, which
we've seen over and over in the season since he died. Like
they put it out. They put it out on display at first, so like it's interesting that she's like, no, now that I'm going on my own adventure, I do want I want this piece of my brother with me.
It's been years for sure. Yeah. So that she's glad she saved that token in this moment.
Exactly.
And she's gonna use it as probably a fuel in her fight going into this. Like, I didn't lose my brother for nothing. I'm not. This is bigger than me. Yeah, this is great. So we leave in this moment of just like she's now joining the rebellion, and this is a time seemingly when Luke Skywalker's around. So she might cross paths with some of them.
Well, it's interesting because we don't see her obviously show up in Rebels,
right?
Unless we rewatch it and it's like, oh my gosh,
she was there the whole time.
What was it? Was this person?
I doubt that. I feel like
I really doubt that too.
I feel like she's got her own adventure to go on, but I bet there's paths being crossed that maybe we just didn't get into. In those shows, but we'll see.
It'll be interesting, definitely, because there's still a little bit of time, obviously, to basically do an Omega show before Rebels, or not. Again, do they just pop out fully and we just see a live action Omega during this Mandoverse and stuff,
or the skeleton crew,
skeleton crew.
Obviously, she'd be inclined to save a bunch of kids, right?
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, that would be a good call.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope we get to see Omega some more. I'm sure we will. Whether it be in the comics or the movies or TV or whatever it is, I'm sure we'll see more of her.
And if she picked up that quickly on all that training and that little time from before, it's been a bit more time. It seems like it's probably done a lot more training.
Yeah, I can only imagine how better she's
not to mention she knows she has the Force now. So not to say that she's been able to train, but she's probably been at least able to hone some of those skills.
Yeah, definitely. Because she's not, like, she's smart and really, like, she was really talented, and like the little bit that she just absorbed. She was a sponge, you know. She was just able to absorb that stuff, and yeah, I'm excited. I'd love to see an Omega and Gungi TV show. Like sign me up for that. Like, like her just like going out and then now learning the Force via the Wookiee. Like, sign me up.
Or this is the way in, like I said, for some of the live action crossover. But also, I wouldn't mind more animated series where the she shows up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Asajj Ventress shows up, like that stuff.
That would be super cool as well. Seeing an Omega Asajj
crossover again.
Yeah, cross paths and stuff. Ah, man, I love Star Wars.
Yeah,
Star Wars was awesome. Bad Batch was awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad we have this as lore now. All this extra canon.
This is great. This has been really awesome. I love that they still find like really interesting pockets to still find like stories to tell in. This, like,
and the clones, to be honest, are always something I've wanted from Star Wars. Like, what happens to them?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, there's stormtroopers later, and they're not clones. What happened to the clones?
Yeah,
and it's like they're finding ways to be able to tell those like more the interesting story, but they're a little more not boring, but you know, a little more flat than like the average storyline that they're going to be able to tell in a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, but this has been
stretch that out. Yeah,
but this has been great. I love the Bad Batch. Colin loves the Bad Batch. But we're gonna wrap things up here for the Bad Batch. I am Jimmy with the Triple C Collective.
I'm Colin.
We want to thank you all for joining us. Please stay safe. Like and subscribe to our video and to our channel. And as always, may the Force be with you.